I was already parked across the street when the porch light flicked on by itself. No motion sensor, no reason, just a signal. My phone said 8:58 p.m. My daughter's bedroom light blinked twice, then stayed dark. I killed the engine and waited. I hadn't told anyone about the business trip. I'd packed the suitcase so my wife would hear the zipper. I'd kissed my daughter's forehead and felt how warm she was. Not feverish, just wrong, quiet, withdrawn, like she was being trained to disappear. A knock tapped my window. Slow, certain. It was Mr. Hale from 3 houses down. Retired, always watching. The kind of man who notices patterns because he has nothing left to distract him. "Your mother-in-law arrives at 9 every night," he said, eyes never leaving my house. "Wait, you'll understand." At 9:01, her car turned the corner. She didn't use the driveway. She parked half a block away, killed her lights, and walked the rest of the distance like she'd done it 100 times. She let herself in with a key. My wife had told me her mother hated driving at night. The lie was small. That's how I missed it. I felt something tear loose in my chest as I watched the shadow cross the living room. The curtains moved, not enough to be accidental, enough to be deliberate. This wasn't a visit. It was a routine. I remembered the early days, how my wife used to laugh when her mother criticized our parenting, how she'd roll her eyes and squeeze my hand under the table. I believed we were a team. I believed love insulated us from manipulation. I believed wrong. The change in my daughter had been gradual. Nightmares, new rules whispered after bedtime. Grandma says Daddy doesn't understand. Grandma says secrets are special. I confronted my wife once, softly, carefully. She said I was imagining things. That was the first betrayal. The second was letting it continue. I didn't confront them again. I documented. The next night, I installed a dash cam with night vision. The night after, I added audio sensors to the exterior walls, legal ones positioned outside. I pulled phone records, therapy notes, school counselor emails that never reached me. Every night at 9, every night the same ritual. My mother-in-law would arrive, my wife would pretend to sleep, my daughter would be taken to the living room and told stories about loyalty, about who really loved her, about how some fathers leave. They were rewriting me out of my own child. So I planned, quietly. I moved assets, updated custody contingencies, not aggressively, precisely. I recorded everything without ever crossing a line. I let patterns hang themselves. I even thanked my mother-in-law once, over dinner, for helping so much. She smiled like she'd already won. The execution took one night. I came home early, unannounced, parked in the driveway this time. At 9:03, the living room went silent. I walked in to find my daughter frozen on the couch, my mother-in-law mid-sentence, my wife standing behind her like a shield that had chosen a side. I didn't raise my voice. I played the audio, every whisper, every instruction, every lie about me. My daughter cried first. My wife followed. My mother-in-law didn't. She stared at me with contempt like I'd broken an unspoken rule. "You were never meant to know," she said. That was the moment the power shifted. The fallout was surgical, emergency custody hearing, evidence presented without commentary. My wife's silence spoke louder than any defense. My mother-in-law was barred from contact pending investigation. Neighbors testified, counselors corroborated, patterns became facts. The house felt empty afterward, but clean. I tucked my daughter into bed that night myself. She asked if Grandma was mad at her. I told her the truth. Adults don't get to hurt you just because they love you. She slept without nightmares for the first time in months. Now I sit in my car again sometimes. Old habit, old vigilance. The porch light stays off. Mr. Hale nods when he sees me. He doesn't ask questions. Neither do I. Betrayal doesn't always arrive screaming. Sometimes it knocks softly every night at 9 and waits for you to stop paying attention. I didn't stop. I watched, I learned, and when the moment came, I didn't explode. I closed the door. Justice doesn't need to shout. It just needs to arrive on time.